list, number one in the attackers list. Taking on the starting five on the field in the practices. Laying out the mattresses, pillow covers will follow you. Sorry to bother, your name is COMMi Oliver. Swing with the sword of darkness, stab with a dragon dagger. I'm the ranger your leaders is going after. I'm much faster, Rita can't control this. Jason wanted to smoke, so I told him to hold this. This whole bliss, get out the Megazord now. And then I blew up and took the Megazord down. Let me see through the stab to the ground. Understand, I am the biggest ranger. Get the metaphor now? I'm here to stay, Goldar, no not to play. I'm nothing like T'Challa when his power's getting stripped away. Anytime, any day to the villains that want more. With the perfect notes, I make the dragon sword roar. I'm the one they adore, all villains are floor. Fire finger missiles, Michael Bay's galore. You wanna turn vegan, there may be some hope. Cause all over the world they recognize me as the GOAT.
What's going on, guys? This is Commission with DetroitRap.com, our interview series. I've got Mark Cooper here from Titan Records.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing well. So to get started real quick here, give those out there watching for the first time a little introduction about who's Mark Cooper.
Oh yeah, well, I am an artist. I'm a nerdcore artist in Detroit. I'm also known as a battle producer and also a producer in the city. Currently with Titan Records with Soup MC and Jack Boy Ant, and of course Chris Cronus as well. Shout outs to that. And just doing my nerdy way, just going around with it.
That's awesome. Starting off, you had just dropped Power Ranger raps not too long ago, where each song represented as like a different color for each ranger. What was kind of the inspiration behind that?
Well, the inspiration was funny. I was finishing up the tour. I was at Michigan Comic-Con.
Okay.
And I ran into Walter Jones, like the actual original Zach Power Ranger, and found out he was from Detroit, which I thought was pretty. When I walked up there was his parents were there because his family still lived there. So I was like, hey, how you doing? Talking to Jive, like, hey, I do nerdcore stuff, and I was actually going to, maybe do a Power Ranger rap or two, and then maybe perform Morphicon. And then they caught me off guard. It was like, okay, let's hear what you got so far. And I'm like, yeah, I was just working on it. It was just a prototype kind of thing. So Zach overheard me talking to him. He was like, okay, that's cool. So you do nerdcore stuff? Okay, awesome. And he said, yeah, that would be cool if you did a Ranger rap thing. So I sat down one day and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. And I wrote the whole thing in a week.
That's awesome.
And then that's the angle I went with it. So when I wanted to bring back Mark Cooper Mondays, which is where I bring a new track every single Monday, it was able to get a jump start on that and being able to, bring out quality content, but in a particular aspect where people can naturally enjoy things in a weekly basis.
Give them something to look for each week on there.
Every single time, yep.
Now, in this process, was there one particular Ranger that you were most excited to make a song
about? The Green Ranger, 100%.
Okay.
I'm a huge Jason David Frank fan.
Okay.
So, of course, I did that. I'm definitely a David Yost fan, Austin St. John. Like, I like all of the guys when it comes to that, but Tommy was that guy when I was a kid, so.
That's awesome. Now, talking about Power Rangers and your childhood shows and stuff like that, you consider yourself a nerdcore rapper. You go by, you're a nerdcore rapper.
100%, yeah.
For those that may be unfamiliar with exactly what a nerdcore rapper is, how would Mark Cooper define it?
Well, nerdcore is really the concept of being able to turn any kind of music or genre with the actual knowledge of maybe pop references, comics, video games, cartoons, anime, things like that, and just being able to merge those all together, and that's a particular genre. So that's like the general consensus of what we actually rap about. Like, we rap about the anime and video games and things like that. But what I like to do with nerdcore is I like to bring those things related to somebody in real life. You know what I mean?
Like tie it into a story about a person.
Yeah, I can either tie it into a story. It could be really just bars about the actual show as well. Like anything that nostalgia is probably the key best strategy. I would probably go with that. Okay. So if I'm going to make a He-Man rap, of course I'm going to make it about the He-Man song. But it's going to have references will be like, oh, I know this character. Oh, I know that character. And then somebody who's in any age bracket can understand what I'm talking about.
So you did Power Ranger raps, and being in Nerdcore, is there another nostalgic moment that you would like to touch on in the future?
Well, there's a lot of them, man. Saturday morning cartoons is one of the things I grew up with as a kid. I was the kid that woke up at 7 in the morning, saw Bill Nye the Science Guy Saturday o'clock. You know what I mean? At 7 o'clock and all those particular aspects. Like, Saturday morning cartoons is what really shaped my life.
Do you have a favorite one?
It's too many to name, man. I mean, from different eras, because back then, you know, they had Fox, they had WB, they had Nickelodeon, they had Cartoon Network. Like, all of them were all in the consensus. But if it came from Nick, it'd probably be like Hey Arnold and your Rugrats, your Doug and stuff. If it was Fox Kids, of course, it would be like Tiny Toon Adventures, X-Men, the animated series, etc. Like WB would be like Yu-Gi-Oh!, Dragon Ball Z, all those aspects. So it just really ranges from the channels. I can't really necessarily see I have a favorite one, but they go all over the charts.
So all around it. So
oh yeah.
Might get a cartoon themed album one day.
Yeah, I've already got 3 beat tapes with it,
okay.
so
okay.
Yeah, definitely can.
Definitely, that's awesome. Now, you know, you consider yourself a nerdcore rapper at this moment. Was there ever a time, you know, in your past or getting started that you just were like rapping just regularly?
Oh, I was rapping regular in the beginning anyway. Okay. I didn't know the actual genre existed until like well, in 2009 I was playing really competitive in Halo 3 back then.
Okay.
And that was back when Jeezy came out with the Recession album and all that stuff, and that I put on for my city. So I got bored one day and I actually made a song called IBR for my city, like a battle rifle thing for MLG people. So I just made that, and then took some footage from the video that, you know, me playing the game and stuff. And then somebody called me and said, hey, bro, check out Bungie.net. And then found out it was on the front page. When I did that, I was like, you know, this might be the route to go into at first. Mm-hmm. But I shortly stopped because, you know, when you don't have a videographer, this is when the rise of YouTube, the rise of the machinimas and all that stuff. If you didn't, right, and if you didn't have a videographer or somebody dedicated to keep going like that, it'd be hard to succeed on YouTube.
Right.
So since I didn't have that, I just shortly went like, you know, it's okay. I'll just really, you know, kind of step back a little bit, still do rap, but, you know, develop the skill a little bit more. And then 2015, I went to Shotokan. I ran into a nerdcore rapper, and his name is Mega Ray, and a lot of people know them. So long story short, you know, he was one of the first people ever be signed to Capcom as a rapper. So that was something that he did that was, you know, quite extraordinary. I'd never seen anything like it. So with him as Mega Ran, he takes on the persona of, so like all his songs, he's rapped over Mega Man beats and etc. Like literally just amazing work. And one day I got a chance to chill with him for a minute, and I asked him, I said, hey, I did this before and it didn't work. If I tried to do this again, would you support me? But of course, just like any other big artist, yeah, sure, you know, follow your dreams, you know, you get that.
The inspiration.
Yeah. And then 2 years later, I end up debuting at UMACon as Player One.
Was that would you say that's the start of it all then? At that?
I would say that would be the start. You know what I mean? Yep.
Now you've got another UMACon coming up, you know, for Halloween, you know, time right here down in Detroit at Kobo and Rensen.
That's right.
You know, how did that come about? You have done it previous years, or?
Yeah, this will be my 3rd year.
Okay.
I've done it since 2017. Also did it in 2018. I've been on stage with Novelist, Crimson Alchemist for a couple. Shara is another artist that's from out of state doing those particular things. The Funky Fresh. Like, there's a lot of nerdcore, you know, kind of artists that I've been able to, you know, perform with. Like Yakuza Moon's another. And I just love the culture of it. Like, I like the fact that I can rap with individuals in the crowds that will really know what I'm talking about.
That are actually listening.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So it's a really great experience to when I do things like with UMACon and all those things. I got a chance to do other cons, which was great. And it's just, you know, it was really surreal to be able to really debut at one of the cons I go to all the time and be able to perform as part of somebody's program of something I enjoy to go to. And that's just amazing in itself.
Right. Like a connection, like, between what you love.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, and outside of UMACon, it's been a busy year for you. I've been watching you. I've been seeing a lot of things you've been accomplishing. And I know not only you have UMACon coming up, but you went on a national tour. You know, was that your first national tour, and how was it?
Yeah, it was my literally my first tour. It was actually pretty surreal. Like, I got a chance to learn about what it takes to go on tour. Like, I actually learned the fruits of the labor, but I also enjoyed the aspect that I go to another state and somebody already knows who I am.
It's gotta be amazing.
And it's overwhelming because, you know, just by thinking of how many people are out there on this earth, somebody walks up to you like, hey, I've seen that logo before. Hey, I've seen you at BlurredCon. Hey, I've seen the videos of you performing at UMACon. I just saw you at Mag West. It's just overwhelming that people are like, hey, I've heard of you. I'm a fan, and I would love to grab whatever CDs or merch, and please sign it for me. It's amazing how many people said, "Can you sign this for me?" And I'm just like, I'm just new at this. What do you mean? So it's really surreal to see that.
It's like a new experience for you. Would you say that's like your favorite part of the whole experience in general, or?
Well, I would say that would be my favorite part. But the thing is about it is that I got kids walking up to me. You know what I mean? It's like, it's more overwhelming when, it's one thing you got somebody that's my age, like, hey, I'm a fan, yada, yada. But when you got kids that are like 8, 9 years old, and they're like, you're player one. So you really have the power glove. That's real. Like things like that. I've even had encounters of that nature. Like, it's crazy that I hear kids will be like, oh, he plays this all day, every day. You know what I mean? Just hearing other people just, saying, hey, my kids love your stuff. And the fact that you don't have anything like, make me feel like I need to hide this and not let my kids hear it. The fact I can hear some dope music and it's okay for, my kids and my nephews and cousins to hear, it's groundbreaking. And it's something to always think about when it comes
you don't cuss in any of your raps. You don't
No, not
swear
really.
at all. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I try not to, because that way the market is completely open. I'm not unwelcome in any other form or fashion. I just gotta, come with the Detroit style, with, the particular bars and lyricism, and actually have the talent to pull that. And then, contrast into, it's for all ages as well. You never know who's in the room. You never know what people are looking for. And it's, it can come out of nowhere. Next week somebody could be like, hey, I like this, and then I'm on a Disney show rapping. You know what I mean? But they can't, there's not anything to worry about.
Yeah, I mean, you never know the opportunities that can come when, you've been extremely consistent, and that is a powerful thing, to be able to have children or, the next generation come up to you and be inspired or just love what you're creating. I think that's a really powerful thing.
Oh yeah, I love every moment of it.
Definitely. Yeah. You also released The Allspark, which was a fantastic album that came out earlier this year. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It got a lot of listening time and still gets listening time on my playlist. What was kind of the inspiration with that? I know it was kind of the sequel to the previous project.
Yeah.
Is there can we expect the trilogy to be completed soon?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, what I'm gonna do, I'll just say it because it's exclusive for Detroit rap. There's actually 3 more projects coming. That's part of that. EPs is coming. It's called the Super Pack. That just got finished, and that's basically like the loose tracks that didn't make the Allspark.
Okay, like
so
B-sides.
Yep.
Okay.
So that definitely comes out. Then after that, I'm going for a synthwave nerdcore project. Synthwave is like the Stranger Things sounding kind of thing, and it's called Test Drive, and that's where I'm on my way to Gerald's Field, which is what the album is at the end for the trilogy. Okay. So I'm in the car, and I'm actually having a conversation with Kit, the Knight Rider Kit.
Yeah.
And he's driving me to Gerald's Field. And Gerald's Field, that album is just going to be like, it's Hey Arnold theme is the reason why it's for Gerald's Field. Gerald's is like, the long story short, what happened is that in the Hey Arnold episode, they were all playing in the street, playing baseball.
Okay.
And it kept saying car, and they never had any time. So there was a little thing they saw was a vacant lot, but it was a whole bunch of trash in it. So they said, hey, let's turn this into a baseball field so we don't have to go outside. So they went and did all the work, cleaned it, everything, made it groomed, put it where it needed to be. And then they were playing, having fun, just like, how Nerdcore is. But then there's individuals who saw the park after they left and said, hey, there actually is a lot of space here. So the next day, all the adults took over that vacant spot, regardless of how much work they particularly put in. So that's basically what it is. Nobody wants to join into something unless somebody else think it's cool. Gerald's Field.
It's a really interesting concept to be able to tackle that. Yeah.
Right, and then it'd be the land of the lost players. So it'd be the ones that did music and kind of picked it off and just left it the way it is. Yeah.
So is player 1 still going to remain the main character?
Yes, he's going to be the main character, but I'm going to meet a lot of lost players, meaning different artists, different kinds of features, all that kind of stuff.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
It's amazing to be able to listen to and hear the creativity that stems from you being able to tell a story, still have bars, tie it all together in this ongoing story. But one thing that you had told me earlier in the year that I found extremely interesting was that all the voice acting or all the skits are real people. They're not sound bites.
Exactly.
Because on my very first listen, originally, I assumed that they were sound bites.
Nope, I went and got voice actors for the album because, like I said, I'm a nerd when it comes to that, and I just like, if I'm gonna be in a video game, I'm gonna really make it like it was me. You know what I'm saying? Having a conversation with Optimus Prime, having a conversation with Goku and things like that, being welcomed by, SpongeBob characters and things like that, because that's just something I've always wanted to do. I wanted to make it as in like the Page Master, for example, like the old school Page Master, how he got to go into the book and talk to a whole bunch of characters and things like that. Like, that's certain things like a great inspiration to be able to tell a story in an album. So if people resonate with the character that's talking to me, they'd be like, well, darn, like, what would happen if I was in a video game and I got to talk to Vegeta, or, you know what I mean? Just, putting you in that particular position. And that's just what makes the album fun. Sometimes people put skits and it just be like, okay, I get where you're going with it, but somebody else would be like, whoa, like, hold on a second, you know what I mean? It makes you really think about it. And then other people who are voice actors can also look at the album and be like, hey, I know that's not such and such, but he did a really good job. I need to find out who these people are. And then you make your networks that way.
Yeah, definitely. It brings a whole other layer to it than just rapping.
Right.
As the year closes out for 2019, 2020 is coming. Outside of UMACON and the continuation of your projects, is there anything that we can look forward to, or anything that's going on this next upcoming year?
To be honest, I got some surprises coming.
Okay.
Especially from the top of the year. I'll probably introduce it in December. It's a really, really big thing, and I'm really excited about it. And not only that, I definitely got some really dope tracks coming soon, like some stuff with Rocket Gaming, Nim Raps. I'm getting ready to release the Saturday Morning Cartoons Volume 4. Okay. But before I do that, each Monday, it'll be the last 8 Mondays of this year, it'll be nerd raps with Detroit artists. Like Detroit artists that probably would never do anything like that. I got features and collabs with them. And you'll be shocked what kind of tracks that we do. It's going to be really dope. So it's definitely something to look forward to, because if you're a fan of that rapper and he doesn't do that, it might entice the fan of that person to hear something like that, because it's something you'll never see and it's completely left field.
So people are just going to be caught off guard.
Yeah, exactly. You never know who I pulled, so it'll make it good.
That's really cool. I'm looking forward to hearing that, definitely.
Oh yeah.
Before we kick things off, with that being said, is there any specific already collaborated with, either in the nerdcore realm or just in hip hop in general, that you feel you could bring into your realm and tell a really cool story with? That you haven't
like bring into it, like do completely, or you mean like just like
just like a feature, like a single song, but someone that may not normally fit into nerdcore, but someone that you maybe looked up to that you would love to collaborate with.
Well, I mean, of course, you got your same people. You got your Royces, your M's, like individuals like in Detroit that I can think of. I mean, of course, I can think about other people from other states, like your Hobsons, your Jaron Bittens, your Logics, your Joyner Lucas, and all that kind of stuff. But honestly, I would just like to see a lot of different Detroit rappers on this particular. I just think it'd be really cool, like to, maybe have Royce on like a track like that, or even Mr. Porter. Like Mr. Porter's been doing a lot of videos that's kind of in the same sense of what I'm doing. So I think me and him doing something like a nerd track or something, I think it'll be really dope.
I could definitely see that. Yeah. I've caught some of those videos where you had the cars lifting up and,
exactly.
and the weed guy dancing.
Yeah, it'd be really cool to do something like that. Other than that, it's just...
Is there a voice actor you would like to work with on future projects that you haven't had a chance?
Well, I mean, of course, I will always like a Steve Blum or something like that. I may try to maybe get the voice of Naruto or like something like that, because if I'm gonna do that, it's definitely gonna be in Gerald's field. Like it's not gonna be in the other ones. because of the fact that, you know, it'll be more magnitude in Gerald's field than anything else.
Because you're going to run into those lost players.
Exactly. So running into them, I get to talk to different individuals, but that ends the trilogy of it. So it's going to be really dope.
Okay. Before we leave off, so there's anything you want to leave fans with, or, you know, people listening in with before we go?
Well, the only thing I can naturally say is just I appreciate anybody who listens to me. I appreciate the support. I appreciate anybody who's, you know, even really cared about what I've been doing. You could definitely find me at It's Mark Cooper, so ITS Mark Cooper. You can go to itsmarkcooper.com. I'm all over all the streaming platforms and things like that. And pretty soon, each Monday, there'll be a new release. So you definitely don't want to miss out on those things. And it's a great experience overall.
That's awesome. Well, I want to thank you for coming out. I really appreciate it. Again, this is DetroitRap.com interview series. It's Mark Cooper.
Hey, Player One, how are you enjoying the game so far? I see you have an 80% overall knowledge of this next challenge. With each level, it will only get more difficult. Let's see if you can fight your way out of this frame data. Player one. Go!
Hit harder than concrete, balance with strong feet, technique similar, douse them with the arms reach. That's how my heart speaks. So what's the issue? So get your life together like it's Yazumitsu. Coated in the igloo, hot in the furnaces, merciless with a Brian Fury on each occurrence. Is merging it with a style that's guaranteed impeccable. So no chip damage is acceptable. Pro to show the cons. Show the pros and cons, rush in with Zangief, finish him with power bombs. So on deadly Katana's mom, got a voice so big that can feedback like the intercom. You better come correct, you move obvious. Head toward the stars, the uppercut is the consequence. That's just common sense. You can see the stream, seeing a mile away. Iron Man's unibeam, hit him clean till you in the red. You in the red, sick like Devil Jin, get the blood rush to the head. Block below is the overhead. No, it's just night night. Show the next challenger approach ahead. You get the hands and feet. Honda, Shung Li thinks that King Master turn players in the lunch meat. That's the Dragon Fist and the Shoryuken. Charged up like geese, whipping out Ryukens. I'ma go far, cause with this fatal fury, destroy all protagonists. Even the Terry Bogard with guilty gear in his hands that he stole from Valentine. Good to meet your match, I'm that soul bad guy. My move list is strict like Fox without the kicks. Got it to a science like Bosco, knock the bitch. Know what you're dealing with. I want all the smoke to the point you all suffocate and choke. From the chest and the meanest sleeveless Paul Phoenix. Box game hitting while you searching for the Kleenex. Jesus, I'm the one that you don't wanna cross. Like bar in the red, you can drag him off.